All right. So let me just jump into what is referred to as agriculture 4.0. It's just the use of technology, whether you look at satellite or drone imagery or big data, use of mobile sensors, all this put together, how it impacts agriculture, how it impacts farming, how it impacts the overall food industry. That's what is called agriculture 4.0. What I'm going to be doing is just talk through a few use cases or specific case studies of what we have seen and how it really works on the field, so to say. So this is an example of some work we did in Africa. This was a company which had a lot of palm plantations there. They had like thousands of acres of land, and they had drone images of the overall plantation, which they were collecting over a period. And they had some very specific challenges and issues. Some parts of the land were cultivated much earlier, so they were in different stages of growth. Certain parts of the land were not utilized well. What they realized, and what happens was, if you detect an area where the tree is not growing well, and if that is detected in advance, they can take corrective actions and plant the trees. Otherwise, you're talking about millions of dollars of impact on their annual yield, so to say. And given the size and the scale of their business, manual data collection and verification and scouting was kind of completely impossible. So what they did was they gave us the drone images, and we used deep learning to distinguish between different types of plants, mature versus immature, healthy versus unhealthy. Where is there cleared area where there is no plant versus here are areas where the tree is growing properly, so on and so forth. That was the analysis we did. There were also analysis on where was the ground recently cleared. Now this information was important for them to understand where should they do the next level of plantation, and where was the trees already existing. Another very interesting analysis they wanted to do was from a natural reserve and forest area conservation perspective. They needed to not just monitor but also report to the government just in case there was some deforestation that was happening. It could be because of natural reasons. It could be because of someone who's kind of cutting down trees consciously. So we also help them analyze and compare the images between one year and another year and say that, hey, here is one pattern which looks off, which looks different from the previous image, and hence there is deforestation here. So you need to first of all investigate what really happened, and then you have to report to the government. Pretty interesting exercise for a large MNC. Went on for about 6 months, and so this is a good example of how you take drone images and you apply deep learning on it, and you kind of influence the tactical ground action when it comes to agriculture. This was another interesting study. This was more to do with the satellite imagery. This was in Thailand. This was for a client where this was actually quite interesting because we collected a lot of satellite images. We kind of added the NDVI layer on top of the images and understood the different stages of the plants and what's and so on and so forth. We also had some ground level data coming from people who had done some scouting, because in many of these areas in Thailand, as you see commonly in India, the fields with multiple fruits and vegetables were kind of lying very close to each other or contiguous to each other. So to analyze very clearly, look, here is where there is pineapple, here is a rubber plant, and so on and so forth was fairly difficult. But we were able to do a good job of putting all the data together, doing the analysis on the images, understanding at, first of all, we analyzed what percentage of the land had pineapple as a plant. And then we analyzed at what stage of growth where these plants at in different areas, so to say, and hence what is the expected yield in the next season or 6 months down the line. So using that, we we did the yield estimation. We said that this is the expected volume of pineapples to hit the market by this time period, which then allowed the company to plan their procurement better. They were able to figure out, what would be the expected dynamics, how they would need to either compensate for less, or they would have a surplus and manage their costs and so on and so forth. So we help them reduce their procurement costs in this case. So the earlier example was drone database. This was satellite database. This is a mobile database. So this is the kind of bread and butter for us as a company, Tibble Labs. So what we have as a technology or an application is any user in the food business can click an image of the fruits and vegetables which is in the tray using our application. And our application then starts analyzing each item in the image. So if you see the image, you see all these small circles, green, blue, red, whatever. So the program is actually drawing contours around each item, and then it starts classifying each item. Hey, this is a healthy item. This is an item with a visual defect. It could be spots or cracks, or it could be shriveled, and so on and so forth. And then we are able to give a bottom-up consolidated quality score that, let's say, 80% of the items are healthy, or half of the items are actually bad and you need to remove it, or you need to change your procurement practice, and so on and so forth. So it's a cost-effective method. It's fast. It's standardized. What we have seen is because visual defects can be subjective, whether person A does the analysis or person B does the analysis in the same client, in the same team, people have different views of whether this should be considered a defect, this is acceptable, non-acceptable, so on and so forth. The other thing we've seen is the digital approach and the verifiability approach has a huge impact. Otherwise, people don't know when a particular item was approved on that day, at that time, how good or bad was the quality. But if you have the images, if you have the quality reports, which anybody can go back in time and check, then it adds significant value. Because it's a mobile solution, it's definitely scalable, and you get the results almost kind of real time, so to say. So how it works is, as I was explaining, the algorithm starts classifying each and every image or every contour in the image. And then it says that, hey, this particular item has a crack. So that's the first step, or rather the second step. Then, we do the severity estimation. So this is to eliminate, this is a very big defect or this is a very small defect. We check the size or the impact or the scale of the defect, and we come back and say that, what, we believe this is a 2 mm crack on the skin. From your company perspective, do you want to put a threshold that anything less than 1 mm is acceptable? Do you want to say anything above even like 0.1 mm is not acceptable? Whatever it is, we can kind of play around with it. We say that, look, by default, we say half green is 40% of the visual surface. If it is green, then we treat it as half green. Do you want to go with that, or do you want to change the benchmark, so to say? And then accordingly, we do the severity analysis, and then we classify that, yes, this moves into a defect bucket or this does not move into a